Welcome back to the National Croquet Center in West Palm Beach, early January, for the inaugural U.S. Open Golf Croquet Invitational, the brainchild of Bill Simmons, your tournament manager and live streaming sponsor. Your tournament director is Jeff Sue. This event is brought to you by the Croquet Foundation of America, which owns and manages the NCC, and of course the United States Croquet Association, which is responsible for all things croquet in the USA. We have sponsorship help from Chris Barley, and of course our exclusive equipment sponsor, Don Oakley and the Croquet Store, supplying all the equipment needs of all players in all clubs at all levels everywhere. And featuring this week the new Arrow Mallet, developed in conjunction with David and Kyle Maloof and being played by both of them this week. And now the last of the matches from the U.S. Open Golf Croquet Invitational that were recorded but not live streamed. This is a block game between Matthew Essick and Randy Cardo. Everybody knows Matthew's story. 9 or 10 national championships, McRobb and Solomon Cup teams, second twice in the AC Worlds, and he was the reigning golf croquet world champion until last October. Oh, by the time he was, I think, 23. Randy started a lot later in life than Matthew did, but he's done pretty darn well. He's won, I think, 3 doubles and 1 singles national championship in American rules. And AC and golf croquet have come later in his career, but he's working his way up in that regard as well. We joined this 19-point game with Matthew having won hoops 1 and 2. I want to thank John Graney, your videographer, for showing up early and recording games before the live stream got started. I'm always going on about how most clearances are better played as center ball stun shots with a full swing than a stop shot. But here's where a stop shot makes sense. If the distance is a foot or less, then an effective stop shot will have the striker ball still skidding when it hits the object ball, and that is the whole point. After a foot and a half or 2 feet, even the best of stop shots can't keep the striker ball from starting to roll. Randy's stop shot action was so good, I'm going to have to get him to do it with a striped ball one of these days so we can see exactly how far it goes before friction with the grass makes the striker ball start to roll. Here comes that nice center ball clearance I was talking about. From 9 or 10 yards, no less. And definitely rolling at impact. Matthew needs to clear red. Most people would try to hit yellow and bombard red away that way. He likes to do it this way. He also likes to use the jump shot over hoop 1 when somebody wires his balls in an attempted sextuple in AC. He just likes to entertain us. Now, down 4-0, a lot of folks would have hammered this one, taking advantage of the odd numbered hoop to get him down to 6 in that shot. He must have gotten the block with red. A comeback in the making. Based on his reaction, I'm sure Matthew was trying to put black in shooting position at 7. But watch what happens to black. I wouldn't put it past him, had black been a lot closer, to have done that on purpose. You'll see why in a minute. Look at that black ball go. He made the hoop, and in the same stroke, he promoted partner into hoop shooting position at the next hoop. Something only possible at an odd numbered hoop, obviously. I've never seen anybody do that on purpose before, but I wouldn't be surprised if Matthew has at some point. I'm calling that a double dinger. Successive hoops on successive strokes. I was going to reserve it for successive hoops on consecutive strokes on the same ball, but this is even better. It's not something you'd play for very often because The only reason this worked was that Randy missed the Croquet on blue. Randy's down 2-6. That's on the brink in a 13-point game. In a 19-point game, all he needs is a couple of 2-in-a-rows, and he's back in business. The dulcet tones of Summit Avenue on the other side of that hedge. This game is about so much more than just making long roquets and hoop shots. Look at that block on red. Now Matthew might try a jump shot here, although blue's maybe a little close for that. Randy's going to try the bombard, which is what most people would do, but blue goes on the wrong side of black. Had it hit black, it would have just put it in better position. The comeback is on, and red's going to get close to 10 on that one. Yellow gets to stay because it got there off black. You want to block, but you don't want to put the blocking ball so close to the object ball that the opponent black can clear them both. Must be an equation for that. One more pair of successive hoops and he's caught up. And he has time. Here's some meaningless numerical trivia for you. Whenever the two scores add up to the number of hoops needed to win, then the other player's score tells you how many you need to win. So Randy needs 6 and Matthew needs 4. It's a little like the square of 204 is the sum of 3 consecutive cubes. And 204 has a bunch of other interesting properties, none of which is really significant mathematically. I don't know what Randy's critical distance is, the distance at which he would hit half of his Croquets. But for the technically inclined among you, here's an analysis of that phenomenon from a purely statistical point of view. It's in the Oxford Croquet website in the technical session under measuring accuracy in Croquets. I'll put a link to it in the description. But if you're one of the players who makes 50% of his shot at 13 yards, you're going to hit about 30% of your 17-yarders. If your critical distance is only 3 yards, you're going to wait a long time between 17-yard Croquets. More importantly, if you're a 13-yard player, you're going to hit the shot that Randy's attempting over 90% of the time. And if your distance, critical distance, is as little as 9 yards, you're only going to hit 60% of those 8-yarders. You're not getting out of block in the World Championships. In fact, you're not even getting into the World Championships. Because the elite players cannot afford to ever miss a 7 or 8-yard Croquet, I think that top shoulder of their critical distance curve is more important than being able to hit a 30-yarder 25% of the time. If you want to know where you fit on this shot, take 25 shots at the peg from 10 yards and then multiply that by 1.4 and see where you are in the 14-yard line. The instructions are in the article. It's a fun exercise. Who knows? You may be better than you think you are. Blue has a pretty straightforward hoop shot, but I'm pretty sure that red's in the way. Has to be, because there's no way he wouldn't put some pace on this and try to clear blue if he could see it. Difficult block from 14 yards and almost 90 degrees. So it's trying to block yellow on blue, but make sure that if he doesn't get the block, then black has a hoop shot. It's a little like backgammon. You make the best with what you've got in any given turn, and then the probabilities take over, i.e., the roll of the dice or your opponent's critical distance or abilities in general. No wonder George Cochran is good at this game and backgammon.
What's the score? What's the score? 7-4, Matthew. Is this where it was?
He's trying to do three things: put red in better position, block blue shot on the hoop, and block blue shot on red, all in one little stroke. The bounces were perfect. If he even jiggles yellow by hitting the hoop, it's going to score. So this is borderline impossible. Randy's gotten within 2 hoops 3 or 4 times now. And with 3 hoops to go, he can still do it. So, confirming the predictive power of D grades, represented here by world rankings, Matthew Essick over Randy Cardo by only 3 hoops. Randy put up a good fight. Matthew was undefeated in block, and you can check out the live streams to see how he did after that. So that's all from the inaugural U.S. Open Golf Croquet Invitational 2025, the brainchild of Bill Simmons, your tournament manager, sponsor, and founder. This was a joint effort between the Croquet Foundation of America and the United States Croquet Association, which of course brings you this YouTube channel with sponsorship by Chris Barley and our exclusive equipment sponsor, Don Oakley, in the Croquet Store, providing all the equipment any croquet player anywhere will ever need. Featuring this week the new Arrow Mallet. Thanks to John Graney for getting these early games, Jeff Sue for the usual exemplary tournament direction, and the NCC for hosting the event. So give us a like, subscribe, hit that bell. Next will be the AC Nationals and the Women's Friendship Tournament in Ponte Vedra in the middle of March.